Hey, John with Simple Property Management. Today, I want to talk about the 10.5 tips for marketing your rental property. I think a good ad for a rental property is so important. You have to remember that this is the first thing that prospective residents see when they're looking for rental properties. So make it a good ad. Number one, we're going to make sure that this property is move-in ready. All the work's been done. So that means that there's no drill sitting on the table. There's no broom in the corner when you're taking pictures. So you really want to show nice photos, make sure the work is done, make sure everything's out of the property. Number two is to make sure that the property is very clean. That's self-explanatory. Nobody wants to move into a property that has breadcrumbs still on the floor or dust all over the kitchen counter, things like that. So this is not a quick 45-minute once over. This is, you're going to take a couple hours, or you're going to hire a cleaning firm to come in, make sure the property is nice and clean. Number three, we're going to take nice photos. So we're not talking about taking photos on an iPhone 6 or anything like that. We're talking, have a nice digital camera, wide angle lens, or I do think that with a lot of phones nowadays, you could probably take decent photos on your phone. Where it becomes a problem is in darker properties. You'll start to get grainy photos, things like that. So that's why we have a nice digital camera with a wide angle lens. Another tip for photos is if you're using your phone, don't take the photos like this. Turn your phone sideways. It's not very hard. The photos look a lot nicer, and use your wide angle lens. That's why Apple put a wide angle lens on here. It's for you to use to market your rental property. Another tip is watermark your photos. So make sure you watermark your photos so that they cannot be taken from your ad. There's a lot of fraud out there, and that's what they look for, is photos that aren't watermarked. I would also edit the photos a little bit, brighten them up. We're not changing colors or anything like that. We just want the property to show a little brighter. Number four, we're going to do a video walkthrough tour. Again, I think really on this one, you can use your phone, but again, not straight up and down, make it sideways, and use the wide angle part. So what you do, your walkthrough tour, you're going to put it on YouTube, and you're going to keep that link to send it when people call or text or email you about the property. Number five, one thing I suggest is you would do a Matterport tour. This is a 360 tour. You might have seen it on the MLS for sales listings, but this allows anyone, anywhere in the world to digitally walk through your property. So we do them. We have a nice Theta camera. It's a couple $100. You can also pay somebody to do it. If I just had one or two units, I might just pay somebody to do it. If I had more than that, I would probably just pay a property manager. Number six, you're going to write a nice, clear, and concise description, but you're not going to make it overly long. Don't make it too wordy. Most people are going to read maybe the first paragraph, a couple bullet points, and that's about it. So some things to include is beds and baths. How many beds and how many baths are there? What's been updated? If something's been updated, make sure you tell them in the ad. Newer appliances. People love new appliances. Newer appliances, newer flooring, newer paint, cabinets, countertop. You kind of see where I'm going here. Make sure you tell them about the parking situation, on street, off street, no parking, etc. If there is washer and dryer included, if there's only hookups, if there's no hookups, make sure you put that on the ad. That's one question we get a lot. We put that on all of our ads. Utilities included, so make sure you tell them landlord pays gas, electric, water, blah, blah, blah. Bonus tip, if it's a single family home, the landlord really shouldn't be paying anything. If the unit has air conditioning, make sure you put that in the ad. If it doesn't have air conditioning, you can leave it out, but you don't need to tell people there's no AC. But if it does have air, make sure you point that out. That's an amenity that people love, along with washer and dryer hookups. Make sure you put the application guidelines in the ad, especially if you're in the city of Grand Rapids. Make sure you follow the application ordinance that was passed a couple years ago. And then also put on there when it's available. So if it's not available for 6 months, put that in the ad. We don't want people calling and wasting your time if they're looking to move in the next 2 weeks. Price it right. So this is number 7. We're almost there. Price it right. You want to be honest with yourself and do honest comparables. If you have a comparable home, you're probably not going to get $200 more for it just because it's your home. So make sure you price it right. I am a fan of, at certain times of year, starting a little bit higher and coming down from there. But you just want to be honest with yourself and honestly look at comparables. If you're looking at comparables on Zillow, you are going to see how many days it's been on the market and things like that. Number 8, we're going to pay Zillow, and we're going to list it to many different websites. So Zillow does have a free plan for, I think it's one property, and they continue to change that plan. But if you have to pay to market on Zillow, pay. We get a lot of residents off of Zillow, or ads that go on Zillow. They go to Trulia, HotPads, a bunch of different websites, a bunch of Zillow parent companies. So pay Zillow, get it on different websites. We do not suggest Craigslist just because Craigslist has a lot of fraud. So I wouldn't worry about Craigslist. Posting it on Facebook Marketplace is sometimes a good idea. I find that a lot of our prospective residents on Facebook Marketplace are just kind of shopping. They aren't really looking to move. But if you post it to Facebook Marketplace, then you can share it on your timeline. I would also use your network. So send that link out to people that you know, because you would be very surprised at who is looking to move and who knows somebody else that's looking to move. If you have multiple properties, I would go ahead and contact prospective residents that have maybe called you in the last 30 to 60 days, even if it's about a different property. Shoot them an email, call them, let them know you have another property to rent. If you have this property that was on the market last year, so if you have prospective residents from a year ago, go ahead and give them a call or shoot them an email. They may be looking to move. It's been a year. The other thing I would do is in your emails, in your text messages, have just write it once, and then you can copy and paste it to everyone. So don't make it personal for each one. I would write it once and I would copy and paste it for anyone. And this brings me into my last one, is group showings. So have a date and time set up. So Saturday from 10 to 10:45, you're going to show this property. You're just going to have an open house. So anyone that shows up can walk through the property. I would make sure that date and time is in your email and your text template. So do group showings. If you don't do group showings, you're going to get stood up. If for some reason you can't do group showings, then what I would do is I would make the prospective resident confirm with you 2 hours before you go there. Half of the people are not going to confirm with you and they're not going to show up. And then half are not even going to show up after they confirm with you, which is why we suggest group showings. So let's recap here. We're going to, number 1, make sure the property is move-in ready. Tools are all out. There's no materials left there, etc. We're going to make sure it's clean. We're going to take nice photos. And remember, if we take photos on our phone, which I don't always suggest, make sure they're sideways and use that wide angle lens that Apple gave you. Number 4, we're going to do a video walkthrough tour. Make sure you put that on YouTube, and make sure you also include that link in your email and your text to prospective residents. Number 5, do a Matterport 360 tour. This is going to garner anyone that is looking to move into your property from outside the area. So we've had people from California move into our properties just off of Matterport. Quick tip on that: if they do decide that they want to move in from outside the state, either have a sight unseen clause or make them have, make them have a friend or a family member walk the property before they sign a lease and move in. So number 6, make sure you write a clear, concise description. Make sure it's not too long, because most people are not going to read a book for a description. Number 7, make sure you price it right. So be honest with yourself when you're looking at comparables. Remember, you don't set the rent. I don't set the rent. The market sets the rent. Number 8, list it to multiple different websites. Make sure you pay Zillow. It's worth it. If you have multiple properties, this is number 9. Make sure that you reach out to any other prospective residents that have been looking or contacting you in the last 60 to 90 days, and also go back to those people that contacted you a year ago, see if they're looking to move. Number 10, you're going to answer the phone, you're going to email people back, you're going to text them back. This is also, here's a quick tip for you. You can get a second number coming into your phone through an app. Basically, it's maybe like $10 a month. Google Voice, I think, does this. So you can set up ways so that people don't have your cell phone number, which I would never give out. Number 10.5, you're going to do group showings, and you are not going to get stood up because you're doing group showings. If you do one-on-one showings, make sure that you make the resident confirm with you 2 hours before the showing. Thanks. Let us know if you have any questions. And if you have anything to add to this list, go ahead and shoot me an email. Thanks.